Hello viewers, welcome to my channel Science and Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about a7V versus R6 Mark III versus Z6 Mark III. Basically, a new mid-range camera selection for year 2026. So let's dive deep into it. Now, thankfully, this year, as in like 2026, if you are watching it a bit late, all mid-range camera refresh has been done. Like generally, companies do try to refresh each other, like close to each other, but it happens. Nikon this time refreshed a bit early. So the idea is mid-range simply means any camera that is give or take $3,000 or 2,70,000 rupees body only. Let that be very clear. Lens bundle can skew the price. So please compare body only. Now, let that be very clear, all cameras have their own pros and cons list, meaning somebody will give you something, but take away something else. So it's up to you to balance it out. Now, one thing I've seen way too many people ask, like, which camera is the best? That's a wrong question. Cameras are like shoes. As in, if your leg requires a number 6 shoes, you need a goddamn 6 number shoe. It does not matter, oh, this shoe is indestructible, but it's number 7. It's gonna hurt your leg and you're not gonna use it. So that's the whole point. Never ever buy a camera as a like camera is good or bad. Camera is a tool. Does that tool suits you? Like, does it satisfy you and your use case? YOLO. If it does not matter how good it is. So that's the one thing. It must specifically suit your need. If it does not, you are wasting your time and money. So, and as you get a bit wiser, you understand lens matters far more than body. Again, I can give you quality lens and the cheapest body and you still have good output compared to poo-poo lens and amazing body, so to say. So lens matters. So the first thing, select the lens. Never select the frame, mount, body, nothing like that. Select the goddamn lens. Like, I like this sort of lens. Let's just say I want Holy Trinity lens. Let's say you do a lot of portraiture and you're like, you know what, my sweet jam would be 70 to 200 f2.8. Cool, awesome. Compare those lenses. Like, which lens can you actually afford? Which lens has the least amount of penalty? Like, some lenses could be super amazing, but they're like idiotically heavy. Some lenses are lightweight and super expensive, but they are very rarely available, as in like, good luck trying to buy it. Again, it could also depend on your location, where you are. Some companies are easily available, others are not. So that's up to them. And weight of the equipment. So these things matter far more than you realize. Far more. And as you get older, weight starts to become one of those things that's like you did not notice in your younger year. As you get older, specifically after 30, you'll be like, I am getting tired. What is this new sensation? I'm getting tired. So be mindful with the lens. Lens should be the first thing you are selecting. You should never be like, I'm gonna buy a camera. No, I'm gonna buy this lens and the body that goes with this goddamn lens. Lens has to be the first thing. Second, you also need money for cards and accessories. This is another thing that newbies kind of forget about. It's like, yeah, I'm going to buy a camera. No, memory card is expensive. Even SD card that is suitable for video recording is idiotically expensive. And you're like, okay, what if I buy a slow one? It will start to affect your performance. In DSLR, it will affect your performance of buffer and video. Like, for example, I have this Canon 800D Full HD only. I only do in the early days I did try 60 FPS, but it started to poop out my cards way too quickly. So I switched to 30 FPS, and even then, once like every 5-6 years, every 3 years, because again I'm doing every day 2 video per day, it starts to reach a point card is too slow. Same card, like a SanDisk Extreme Pro card, it starts to poop out. Like basically I'm wearing down the card. So you have to understand, like I have to keep money so I can keep buying new cards. Now I have put a UHS 2 card. Unfortunately, the camera does not support UHS 2. I just use UHS 2 so I can dump it to computer quickly. So you have to pay money for that. And not to mention, thankfully now these cards are available, CFast Express. And the reason why I'm saying thankful, for the speed that they're allowing, basically V90 class cards is the maximum that you can go, and SD. V90 simply means at worst case scenario, the card will still be able to do 90 Mbps of write speed reliably. If it's working, it's writing at 90 Mbps. Now, like 90 Mbps is too low. No, it's not. It's 90 capital B, as in megabytes per second. Whenever you say about videos, they are generally megabits per second. So divide that by 8, that number must be smaller than the stamp rating. These cards generally go much higher. The like stamp rating of new series of compact flash cards is 400, 200 and 800. So 400 simply means while the card can read and write faster than that, 400 is like worst case scenario. No matter what happens, no matter how full the card is, no matter how hot the card is, no matter what age of the card is, it will write at 400 Mbps no matter what. Like if your video output is at that speed, this card is like, I got this, fam. There will not be a single frame drop. So at those sort of speed, basically V90 card versus CFast Express cards. CFast Express card is cheaper. Basically, if you have to same amount of money, you will get 512 GB for basically SD V90 card, 1 TB CFast Express A, and 2 TB CFast Type B. So yeah, and these things are expensive. So be mindful. Cards are expensive. And accessories like flashlight, batteries, extra battery chargers, those things also pile up a lot. And good luck if you want to buy quality tripod. So you need money for those things also. So do not just flex, oh, I'm going to get the best body. It's like, did you select a quality lens? Did you select accessories? So, you can do it. Like the first accessory that you must buy, extra battery. At least have 2 battery and at least have 2 or 3 cards. So those things add up. And I'm not considering basically Blackmagic and Panasonic, not because they do not make good cameras, it's just that they do not have enough sales volume to be in this list. In this list, these 3 are the daddy: Nikon, Canon, and Sony. And Blackmagic and Panasonic, on paper, they make the most amazing camera, but for some reason, nobody buys it. So this is 2026 list. Be mindful. Select the lens first and figure out whether you can handle the pros and cons of that lens. Then buy the body, and then please keep the money for your accessories that you need. A lot of accessories people end up consuming. So let's look at the first mid-range that was the earliest announced, that is Nikon. Now Nikon came out swinging, so they are like 24 megapixel. Now that's not that great. However, it's partially stacked. Now you have to understand, silicon is just an analog to digital converter. Basically, it takes analog wave front of light, converts it into voltage. Voltage goes to what we call analog to digital converter. That converts it into digital signal. That signal goes into your processor. Processor packages into a file. Cool, awesome, GG. The A to D and sensor are in one package. Basically, the block you see generally has analog to digital converter on the side. Stacked simply means it's on the bottom layer of it. Basically, you build the section, then you build the sensor on top. It's expensive AF, but does give you better read-write performance. So people do want to use that, but it's too expensive, and traditional is too slow. So what do? Partially stacked is a kind of like, hybrid, where it's like you're not layering every component under the silicon, but it does not have the full flex of a, stacked sensor, but it's still better than, what we call traditional sensor. So this company became the first commercial, basically consumer level, what we call partially stacked CMOS sensor. So they announced it. Now, what was the benefit? The benefit was rolling shutter. Like, okay, why do we still have rolling shutter? Well, we never had rolling shutter. We had CCD in the early days that does not have rolling shutter. We got global shutter that does not have rolling shutter. Then we have rolling shutter that has rolling shutter. It's like, why? Well, global shutter generally has a pixel sight, right? The silicon. But they have to etch a capacitor bank next to it. The silicon, like photo sight, the pixel itself, and there is a giant hole next to it, which has the capacitor. So penalty is the surface area of per pixel site goes down. Meaning, if you take the same fabrication lab, let's just say Sony Semiconductor, you can find it. It's like, okay, this 100 megapixel sensor. One is global shutter, one is a rolling shutter. Rolling shutter will always give you better dynamic range, better low light performance, because it literally has more room to absorb photons and convert into it has basically it can absorb far more photons and has a less overflow. Overflow simply means clipping. So it is better, like fundamentally it is better. So what can we do? Well, global shutter is becoming good, not because the physics is better, because again, physics is like there is a hole there. If somebody figures out how to put a capacitor below the sensor, the end, there will not be any rolling shutter after that, but nobody has cracked it yet. So the next best thing is improve the analog to digital converter so much that it compensates for it, and then have a SoC, as in like your processor, that can compensate for it. A9 Mark III does that. Red cameras, they have 2 cameras that have global shutter, and they are genuinely good. Like Sony one is like good in terms of speed, but not in terms of quality. You will know that it's like a global shutter. It does not have that like whoa kind of dynamic range, while Red does that, but it's idiotically expensive. So this is the next big solution. It's like basically stack it, make it as fast as possible. Anything below 15 millisecond read speed is decent. Anything below 10 is good. Anything above basically below 5, it's cinema level. So fastest rolling shutter in this sort of price bracket is from this Nikon system. So there are other benefits, like this has burst mode, way too many burst mode, but it has way too many ifs, as in if you do this burst mode, this feature will be disabled. For example, if you do pre-capture and you do 120 FPS of burst, it will not be RAW, it will be JPEG, and it will not even be full size JPEG. It has way too many else if statements there. So I would urge you, if you want to buy this camera, please read and download the manual and read what the hell is going on. It's messy AF. So it does have a feature, but don't expect to be like, whoa. Like a lot of bird photographers bought this and then like, wait a minute. What do you mean it does not have very good low light sensitivity? As in like when you push the shadows, because again, sun, bird, you. So bird will always be in the shadow. So you have to push it up. And that time, if you have JPEG and you're trying to push it, it's like, brah. So it's decent camera for photography, but not like, whoa. But for video, it has NRAW, 12-bit RAW. Whoa. Now that is not interesting. Apple ProRes, now that's sweet spot. Why? Apple ProRes is a big enough format, has been used by so many people for so long, and so many professional cinema camera, every software supports it. Meaning you directly download NRAW, good luck trying to decode it. You download Apple ProRes, go home. It works. It does not matter DaVinci Resolve, ProRes or whatever have you, it works. The end, go home. So that is really desirable for people who want to have a tight turnaround. So Apple ProRes, GJ. In-body Apple ProRes is very rare thing. You have to talk with basically Apple in order to allow that. And NRAW, they directly bought red because it was so expensive. So that is there. Now, what are the cons list? A con list is basically the autofocus is not GG. It's good, but it's not like, whoa. It's good, like you're not gonna suffer, specifically if you're updating from old camera. Like in my case, I'm updating from Canon 800D. It will be like, whoa, night and day difference. But be mindful, if you're coming side grading from Canon or Sony, you will be like, not bad. You will not be like throw it away, but it will like, it could be a bit better. So it's not the greatest, but good enough. And video heat is coming from a different place in this scenario. The SoC efficient, good. Sensor efficient, good. The card is not that good because card is CFast type B. It has dual lane, as in like it's 4 PCI Express system. Type A has 1, type B has 2, and type C, which again apparently should have been made, but nobody has made it yet, is for cinema camera. So this card gets hot, and as in like hot enough that the door itself has a permanent label, caution hot, it's very hot, and it seizes the system, meaning there is a probability that in future you can have a better CFast card. Like, what does it mean, better CFast card? CFast is literally NVMe SSD, literally the same thing, same PCI protocol bus and NVMe protocol. You can even buy converter cards that uses M.2 SSDs into this. It can work. It will work. Same thing. Everything is same. So as they are upgrading for PCI 3.0 to PCI 4.0, the cards are far more efficient, meaning they will not generate same amount of heat at same amount of read-write cycle. So I could easily see in the future, if you bought this camera, like, okay, wait few years or buy a very quality CFast class 4 card, you should get better thermal performance. But be mindful, it will have overheating simply because the cards are hot. And again, camera companies never crossed 1990s, so they did not, they were not there for the evolution of heat pipes and vapor chambers that your smartphone has. It's not the heat, there is not enough energy here to be like hot. It's not kilowatts of heat, it's just watts, like 10, 20 watts. That's how much your battery has. And again, that's over 2 hours. They can easily dissipate it. It's just that they're like, why use 1990s technology of vapor chamber? Let's use 1980s technology of putting copper. So, not even copper, by the way. Most of the time, aluminum and magnesium alloy. So, it's there. It's like, that's the weird part. And dynamic range is not that good. This sensor, compared to Nikon's own sensor, 24 megapixel, you will feel this is like bit lightweight. Not drastically, not like day and night difference. But if you're like really want to go into like, dynamic range, and like if you're doing something that really pushes it, you may feel a little bit of letdown. So overall, a great body, and it does have limited third-party lens support, as in Nikon works with a third-party lens manufacturer. It's like, okay, Nikon makes 24 to 70, third-party will make 28 to 75 or something like that. They will never allow, basically Nikon will not allow you to make dicto copy of their lens. So lens will always be offset. Again, that could be a big deal for you, or that could be insignificant for you. It's up to you. You have to decide the lens. So overall, it's a very good package, very decent system, and they're a bit early, as in they arrived last year, but quite decent. So this is Nikon partially stacked mid-frame. Everything else is very decent. Like viewfinder is really amazing. So it's good. Good stuff. Then we come to R6 Mark III, hyper hyped camera. Now this has the new 33 megapixel sensor. Again, almost all 3 of them have new sensors. So this sensor was announced with C50 series. And this has fast readout. Again, this is completely traditional. It's not stacked, but because it's designed from day one, like, hey, have the readout speed to be optimized, it has really decent readout speed, even without being stacked. And again, that's how RE and Red managed to do it. You do not need stacked if that's the only thing you're optimizing for. Like, okay, then why these cameras are so bad? They have autofocus algorithm in the sensor. Like there are photo sites for that. Like that, you whenever you hear another 800 phase detect point, where do you think that point is? In the sensor. The electronics is in the sensor. Cinema cameras do not have autofocus for this exact reason. The sensor has much less clutter. It's like so same manufacturer, same Sony manufacturer, same on semiconductor manufacturer can give you much better read write speed, much better rolling shutter performance, because it does not have autofocus wiring there. So same 33 megapixel this puppy, and it's basically C50 inferiorized, meaning you throw away the fan, add an IBUS module. That's what you get as a R6 Mark III. And it has proper pre-capture, as in not only it will do pre-capture, but it will also do raw pre-capture, as in you can actually use it. Like you'll be like, hey, it's not like, oh, one perfect shot, because again, that happened in pre-capture moment is perfect, but it's like Instagram only, and everything afterwards is like, calendar quality. So this has a proper system. It can even do 20 slices before you press the shutter, half second pre-buffer, and the burst rate is 40, which is quite decent. And it gives you every feature under the sun for video, as in open gate 7K. Open gate meaning the whole sensor is recorded. Is that important? Most of the time, no, but sometimes yes. If you are like, hey, I want to do basically normal YouTube video and TikTok video separately, this will give you a little bit of wiggle room. And if you are shooting movie known as TV show known as House of Cards, they also utilize the Red's extra buffer room. That was like long ago, but they're like 4.6K. What was that 0.6K? They always use it to stabilize the frame. Like they worked ass off to make sure that if horizontal line is freaking horizontal, like put a double level and it would be horizontal. So there are certain wiggle room that you get if you have open gate. 7K open gate, you get that. 4K 120 FPS, no crop, GG. And autofocus is really good. Like if I have to go side by side, which autofocus you can trust more, Canon or Nikon? You will find Canon, again, this iteration of Canon to be far more robust, so to say, far more cooked. And again, if you know Canon and Nikon, you know this same thing. When I bought this, like a Canon 800D, that is the time when DSLR were the king, but Nikon never took video seriously. They were like, hey, on sensor, again, you have to put algorithm hardware on the sensor. Canon did that. They called it dual pixel, like actual hardware on the sensor. They did it, if I'm not mistaken, Canon 5D Mark III, Mark II or Mark III, they did that. So this camera is the first APS-C that has that, 800D. So they always knew how to do on sensor autofocus. Nikon knew how to do autofocus with a DSLR body, because there is a mirror. That mirror has a beam splitter. That beam splitter does the autofocus. So they were really good at that hardware, but not the sensor hardware. That's why their DSLR like D3100, D3500, all of them had contrast detect autofocus, like Panasonic. So it took them quite a while to take this, immerse it into the silicon, and actually be good with it. So it does show Canon is far more mature in that regard. So autofocus is really good. And raw video, which again, for a lot of people, colorist people, art students, they're gonna have fun with it. And they have zero third-party lens support. That is the biggest problem that you're going to face. It's like, make sure that you look into Canon's first-party R lenses, or good luck. So be very mindful of that. Like, be aware of that. Lenses are expensive and you have no other choice. And again, they sue. There are other companies that did try to, if I'm not mistaken, Artisan or some other company tried to make it, and they're like, Canon sued them. It's like, Canon is firing missiles now. It's not like, oh, make it and reverse engineer it. No, we'll fire missile at you. So that is there. Now let this be very clear. While it does on paper look like an amazing stills camera, amazing video camera, it's amazing still camera, not amazing video camera, because it overheats like there is no tomorrow. And be mindful, if it's overheating with people who are living in Western Hemisphere at 22 degrees Celsius, it will overheat in India. My AC is generally only set to 28 or 26, not 22. So what does it mean? Meaning, if you are like in a Canon system, if you are like, I like Canon lenses, I like color science, and I want this sort of feature, please buy C50. This puppy is, this price delta is little bit up. And they're like, okay, but it does not have IBUS. You can add IBUS by adding a gimbal. You can't add a cooling fan to this, unless you are like DIY perk and open it up and then put a copper block there. So let that be very clear. And again, I think Canon did a very clever job of releasing it during the winter time. It's like, hey, everybody's awesome. I'm like, and again, everybody's acting like they forgot like this Canon overhype was the same thing that was done with R5. We've been through this road. They were giving 8K and raw, and nobody talks about it because, yeah, once you actually use it, it's like camera is like, nope, overheated. Nope. That's why I say, please watch DIY Perks video where it's like actually opens it up like, dude, there is not a single any element, like nothing is connected to the SoC. SoC is like, bro, I'm cooking in the air. Put some copper tape on me. Put something. So, and he puts the copper, it's like, yeah, it overheats very slowly and it cools down very quickly simply because it can dump the heat away. And again, that's why the R5 Mark 3 or Mark 4 has that cooling fan channel. So let that be very clear. Like, I hate this sort of approach from Canon's point of view. It's like, no, you want video, you buy this. I'm like, why there is a price difference? Are you literally telling me like this has no value other than the fact that it does not overheat? Like, put copper block, man. Put copper block. Like, even Fuji is like, hey, our camera overheats, so we have a fan attachment. Like, first party fan attachment, just attach it on the back. Cool, fine, dandy. So this really pisses me off. And again, battery, oh my god. This company is like, either they do not have any manufacturer that knows how to build batteries, or they're like, let's have the customer. Every time they make new battery, every time. Imagine you had R6 Mark II, you're happy, you're dandy, everything is nice. You're like, okay, I'm gonna go R6 Mark III. Battery is changed. Even though physically battery will fit, it's like, no. You have to buy P series. If you put the old one, we'll disable a lot of the advanced feature. Again, that like pissing on the customer's face is really pisses me off. And again, if you looked into what they were doing with Canon EOS RP back in the day, you're like, yeah, that's why. Like, there is a personal hatred for Canon in my soul. And again, I'm using them for 7 years, so I know. It's like, please let that be very clear. If you are in any hot places or you want to be in a scenario where you trust video from this camera, buy C50, not R6 Mark III. You will be disappointed if you buy this. Trust me. I have seen way too many people. Heck, I have even seen one Pakistani YouTuber. I did a live stream with him. It's like, yeah, the Canon gives so many features. It just overheats. And again, India is a bit hotter, so you may have a different, experience, but I would urge you, caution. Buy this if you want to trust it. Now we come to the newest edition, Sony a7 Mark V. Now, this time Sony also double flexed, as in they have a new sensor. Duh, everybody's releasing new sensor. And they have a new SoC. This combination, as in like the SoC generally refresh every 5 years. So new SoC plus the new sensor equals butter. New sensor is Bionics XR2. So this can do 30 FPS burst, quite decent. 1 second of pre-capture, really decent. And autofocus has went to completely cuckoo land, as in like, bro, this does not predict the autofocus. This is like, okay, there is the motion and trajectory of the person, and this is how I'm gonna project it in the future. Like, if this autofocus is failing on you, there is only 2 probabilities. First, either the camera could be broke, things happen, or you're doing something wrong. There is no other scenario. Like, the autofocus on this, like if you were testing, it's like, wait a minute. It's not just like, when you have players, it's like, okay, its player is focusing on the player. No, it knows which player is coming front, which player is going back, and it trajectory calculates it. It's like, dying. Like, again, that's how they are doing it, because the AI sub chip that they had in the last 5 years, they're like, what if we integrate it? What if we make it faster? So this puppy has that. And this gives you 4K 60 full frame. So I'm finally happy with that. No crop, that's awesome. And it gives you 4K 120, but with APS-C crop, and full HD 240 FPS with APS-C crop. So yeah, not as flexing as Nikon or Canon, but 4K 60, more than enough people are like, dude, and again, if you already have in the Sony ecosystem, you have no other choice. So you're gonna buy it. And it has 3 things that is missing. That is, does not have open gate, does not have RAW, does not have ProRes. And one feature that I wanted was 4K 60 FPS USB output. This only Nikon has that. Can I do that in this? Yes, I have to do with HDMI capture, but why? Although I get it from a video camera point of view, as in like a video call point of view, most like Google Meet only allows 720p, so 4K would be excess. And again, last model, as in A7 Mark IV, only did 4K 15 FPS. It was not even a video at that point in time. So 4K 30, I'm okay with that. 4K 60 would have been awesome. And again, I do live stream every week, so I would have been really happy with that. But again, 4K 30, I will live with that. Actually, most likely I'll do full HD 60 FPS. Or maybe we'll see, we'll experiment once we buy it. But here, see, what about these 3 features? Yeah, people say they want it, nobody pays for it. Basically, Panasonic, Blackmagic, they have been selling these features for 10 or 15 years. Nobody buys it. It's like you can find it TV shows, and I mean on broadcast channel, the national level network, and Netflix. They have been shot on camera that does not have RAW from Sony, and people are like fine with it. This whole idea that you need to have RAW, again, you do need to have some bit depth. 8-bit is too low. Sony fixed that long ago. They went from 8-bit to 10-bit. That point it was done. So what about 12-bit and all that? Yeah, you can do that. And again, it would be desirable to do that, and even necessary to do that if you're doing Oppenheimer. Most likely you're not doing Oppenheimer if you're buying such a cheap camera. So Sony realized that. It's like, and again, if this statement was not true, Blackmagic would have been selling like hotcakes, and Panasonic Lumix would be selling like hotcakes. It's not. So it's that kind of reality. It's like need versus desire. We desire open gate, we desire RAW, and again, I hate RAW simply because, not because again the technology is awesome, it's just that most people have no concept of the bit depth that it requires, as in like the Mbps it requires. It's so heavy. If 1 terabyte card, you will be filling it up in 1 hour. Like if I have 1 terabyte card on normal DSLR or mirrorless, you do not worry about it. Like you can keep recording, you do not worry about card filling up. RAW, done. Like the end, done. No matter how big your card is, RAW is like, bro, I'm gonna eat it up in few minutes. And again, I would need a server to deal with it. I'm not Linus Tech Tips or Markev HD or what his name. So I can't afford the RAW. So ProRes, again, I get that, like pipeline flexibility, but again, you can live with that. Like people have been living with that. So let that be very clear. If you genuinely need these things, buy Canon C50. I will not even say Nikon, simply because Nikon does not have cooling fan. Buy Canon C50. Nikon is the second best option. Third best option would be this. So new SoC, what's the best thing? Slow overheating, meaning would this camera overheat? Of course, but it will take way too long. Why? It has cooling system. Like they put aluminum. It looks like aluminum. So it looks like aluminum, and they have graphite blocks and all that. So they actually managed to cool it. And this camera is the second camera that I've ever seen that claims testing done by the company at 40 degrees C, as in India. So they actually tested it. Lumix is the only one, that first one that I knew, that they're like, no, we actually tested this puppy at 4K 60 FPS at 40 degrees Celsius, and it actually worked for a few minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. Sony did that without fan. And everybody who's doing testing is like, bro, this camera is giant. Why? SoC is better. So sensor is faster, SoC is better, and this gives you more battery on the same battery. So every other brand, including Panasonic, which is frustrating given the fact Panasonic is one of the top leading manufacturers of lithium ion cells. Like who do you think made Tesla? Panasonic. So Sony is like, hey, we made a battery 9 years ago. We are still selling the same battery. I'm saying that every third-party battery manufacturer, they are orgasming making over Z100. Is like, yeah, once we made the tooling for Z100, the end. We keep selling it. We do not have to buy a new chip. We do not have to do any new packaging. Just keep making it, keep pushing it out. Every camera. Heck, even some APS-C also has that Z100 battery. Like you buy full frame, the end. Sony full frame Z100 battery, the end. The end. There is no discussion after that. And they're like, hey, what about that old battery? What if we give you more power in that same battery? Everybody else is like, we are giving you like 300 to 400 shots. Sony is like, yeah, we're gonna give you 600 shots. I'm like, what? Same battery. That's the main point. Like I would live with battery degrading, as in like it does not last longer. But I do not like the idea of like, oh, we're gonna disable your features. We're gonna cripple it. We're gonna do Canon cripple hammer with it. It's like, like I need better. This simply means people who are used to Sony system, wedding photographer, and if they're carrying 3 batteries, they'll be like, yeah, we can almost get by with 2 batteries. So that's a very big jump. That would be the biggest quality of life change that people are ignoring. Oh, and it also has 2 USB-C port, both supporting power delivery, meaning if I'm running this as a webcam, again, computer motherboards are not designed to pump a power, nor the laptop USB-C port are not designed to pump power delivery power. So they're like, hey, use wall adapter, plug power delivery, connect it to your computer, transfer the files, use it as a webcam, and do not worry about battery. And again, they tested it full HD 60 FPS 24/7. Like somebody put some effort into testing the damn thing. I'm like, damn, like 24-hour live stream. There are so many Twitch people who will love this. So this camera is like, I got this. And third-party lens ecosystem is very healthy, and it has both basically Nikon option, where it's like, hey, they work with Tamron people, so they're like, hey, Tamron will not make 24x70, they will make 28 to 75 or something weird like that, but they will make it and it will work. And Sigma will make 24 to 70, it will work also. So you get both of those, but there are some compromise, like 15 fps lock would be there, and advanced video function like focus breathing compensation would be disabled. Everything else will work. So that is there. A third-party lens is the most mature system out there. Tilt shift lens are also available now. Again, manual only, but it is available. You can get some good architecture photo done. And DJI Mics, this is the what I'm planning to buy next. Basically, as you can see, I'm using this puppy for 4 years. So DJI Mic, because again, Sony sells so much that they have made an adapter that uses the hot shoe interface to interface audio directly into the camera. That's a much bigger deal for people who want quick turnaround than ProRes. Why? Every time I'm using mic like this, which most people will, you have a mic that converts analog to digital. Cool, awesome. Digital transmission, you can transmit till infinity, it will not have any degradation. So you do not want to convert it, stay in digital. Analog, digital transmission, then it gets converted in the receiver in analog. So first conversion there, extra conversion. First extra conversion happened, then it transmits over the analog cable, then camera reconverts it into analog to digital. So 2 analog to digital converter is unnecessarily there. Here, analog to digital converter, digital transmission, digital injection into the camera. The end, there is no analog noise added. There is no noise floor going up, meaning if the mic is good, your camera gets good audio. Like ideally in my utopia world, camera will realize that USB is USB, universal, and all audio recorder will have the ability to transmit 32-bit float audio, which mind you, they do. You can buy from Zoom, you can buy from Tascam, you can buy from other brands. They can do that. It's like it's a done, take it and go kind of deal, and transmit audio directly into it. I have no idea why we use headphone. It's like, yeah, that was lame in 1990s. Sony had like a mini disc player. It was had the ability to transfer audio digitally over optical. You have Speedif, I think it's called. If you have old DVD player, it has optical. Heck, this TV also has optical. So you can do optical audio transfer. We known how to do this in 1990s on battery powered devices. But people are like, we should never go above 90. But again, this is the next best option. Have direct transfer. And not to mention, because it is directly interfacing on a digital layer, it can dump 4 channels into one camera. That is like, for many people, shut up, take money. Like, how do I decide between Rode microphone or DJI? Just because of the interface, I have to get DJI. It's like, I cannot afford to deal with this wire mess and all that. And not to mention, because there is a digital interface, turning on and off and battery power, all of them are sorted. So that's why the DJI mics alone makes it worthwhile. Third-party lenses are also available, and most well-rounded hybrid camera, meaning can you do bird photography with this good raw quality, pre-capture all of that? Yes. Can you do decent video? Yes. Can you do decent video long enough where it's like, hey, am I trusting it? Yes. So it is a really well-rounded system. And of course, I will wish Nikon to make even better cameras. I will wish Canon to not being a cheapskate, that okay, put a copper block. And again, this time they have also added that dual tilty flippy screen, simply because photographers are like, I do not want off axis. Cool, fold it, stay in the same axis, enjoy. Videographer, I need flip out, flip it out, enjoy. So this is really good. Again, they did not upgrade the what you call electronic viewfinder, which again, I'm pretty sure more people would be happy with the flip out screen than the electronic viewfinder. And the only thing that I'm like a bit disappointed is like, come on, 4K 60, come on, man. Don't make me buy HDMI to 4K to 60 FPS converter. They are expensive. So, but again, that's not a very big deal. And DJI Mic, I'm very happy. I want Rode to do it and one other brand to do it. So more companies should do that. And again, in principle, the same thing can be done with Nikon and Canon also. But they have not done that yet. I really wish that happens, because again, that's the only way you can keep the price reasonable. But we are far from our utopia. So this was my presentation on basically the 3 mid-range cameras from all 3 major manufacturers. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me extra disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.